Welcome back, you guys. Your boy CK. Now we're back with the fantasy stat leaders. You guys destroyed the like button, got the like goal, so we are going to keep on uploading it on the main channel for the foreseeable future, as long as we keep reaching it, man. Today is mostly about the running backs, man. Let's be honest. A couple of them went absolutely crazy in week 2. If you want to get your account grinded all the way to the max level, or if you want players, you want coins, you want training, you know where to go, man. MutReserve.com. Use my code CK for 15% off your order, and I promise you'll be rich one day. Now, I've been asked to start sharing my files, so if you guys want to go ahead and leave likes on these, I'll go ahead and start sharing them. I know this one didn't take too long, to like 10 minutes, but some of the videos that do the rosters do take a while. I'm gonna start, trying to upload them. So if you guys can support that, I'll definitely start sharing it more often. Oh yeah, you might have noticed the name change, man. We're gonna start saying fantasy stat leaders, so you guys understand where I'm getting these players from and why they're on the team. So in week number 2, the number 1 quarterback was actually Kyler Murray. 37.1 fantasy points, 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but he also added a rushing touchdown. The leader for I think 2 weeks in a row, man. If he's your quarterback in fantasy, you're probably 2-0. Same with this guy, Lamar Jackson, the second highest fantasy producer at the quarterback position in week number 2. 34.26 fantasy points, 239 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, but 2 rushing touchdowns on 16 carries and 107 yards on the ground. And then of course, Tom Brady. I think he has like 9 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks of the season. It's insane what he's doing at his age. But he was the 3rd highest fantasy producer. He's pretty much giving you nothing on the ground, and he's still up here with the likes of Kyler Lamar. Just to put in perspective how amazing he's been: 5 touchdowns, 276 yards. He did have 1 carry for 6 yards on the ground, so he's not completely irrelevant in the ground game. So far, the highest fantasy producer in any week has been Derrick Henry in week 2. 49.7 fantasy points, 35 carries, 182 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns to go along with 6 receptions, 55 yards receiving. I think it was a career high in terms of receptions. So he's proven he can be a dual threat running back. This is a guy we already knew was a dual threat running back. Aaron Jones, 17 carries, 67 yards, and 1 touchdown on the ground. But then 6 receptions, 48 yards, and 3 touchdowns receiving. Single-handedly won me one of my leagues, man. He's an absolute demon. I knew he'd bounce back. Packers fans, I told you, man, just relax. Even though it's going to be hard to relax seeing him on the Bears, but it is what it is. I'll get to that and why they're on that team in a little bit. Tony Pollard, the number 3 ranked running back in terms of fantasy in week number 2, man. He was just ahead of McCaffrey by 0.3 because of the 13 carries for 109 yards and 1 touchdown, along with the 3 receptions for 31 yards. We might as well do some honorable mentions, man. Going back to the quarterbacks, just because they're not on the team does not mean they don't deserve a mention, okay? Let's round out at least the top 5, 6. So we have Daniel Jones at 4, then Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Mahomes, and Russell Wilson. And then the running back honorable mentions, we have CMC, like we said, Cordarrelle Patterson had himself a week, Austin Eckler, JD McKissick, and Najee Harris. Wide receivers, we have Cooper Kupp, who led everyone with 38.8 fantasy points, 9 receptions, 163 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Would have been even more fantasy points if he didn't have that negative 5-yard rush. He's an absolute monster. So is this guy, Tyler Lockett. I'm going to keep it going because he should be a 90 overall. This is the 2nd week in a row I think he's on the fantasy leaders team. Going back to last year when he was absolutely amazing, I just don't get it. Hopefully him and Kupp get into the 90s eventually. He had 33.8 fantasy points, 8 receptions, 178 yards, and a touchdown. Another guy who, deserves to be in the 90s. Scary Terry McLaurin, 29.7 fantasy points. He was 3rd for all wide receivers, 11 for 107 and a touchdown. 4th was Courtland Sutton, who is still, for some reason, extremely underrated. He's an 82 overall. I think he should be higher than that, man. At least a high 80s. He had 26.9 fantasy points in week 2, 9 for 159 through the air. And then a lot of people were introduced to this man right here, Rondale Moore. Him and Kyler look just like an unstoppable duo, and they still have other guys that can eat. So yeah, just if you have him on your team, please start starting him because 26.4 fantasy points is nasty. 7 for 114 and the touchdown in week 2. Honorable mentions: Marquise Hollywood Brown, Mike Evans, Henry Ruggs, Brandon Cooks, and Michael Pittman. Tight ends, we have Travis Kelce. I think that's back-to-back weeks. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I know he's just been absolutely disgusting this year. 25.9 fantasy points, 7 for 109. And a touchdown. TJ Hockenson was 2nd for all tight ends in fantasy in week 2, 8 for 66 and a touchdown for 20.6 fantasy points. Honorable mentions go to Gronk, who is still just phenomenal. Max Williams, Robert Tonyan, and Jack Doyle. You already know how we choose the O-line around here. Is the running back that had the most fantasy points. His O-line will be the one featured. So we have the Titans O-line. And then as for the defense, we have the Chicago Bears because they had the most fantasy points in week number 2, right ahead of the Buccaneers, the Bills, and the Patriots. If you had any of those defenses, 9 times out of 10, you probably won this week. Let's take a broader look at the squadron, man. Offense is absolutely nasty. 3 X factors, a couple superstars. Defense, Khalil Mack got his first sack of the season. Love to see it. Roquan had a nasty interception, a pick 6. So yeah, they definitely deserve to be here, man. 4-3 halfway through the season. We have a big matchup versus the Niners. Oh yeah, already getting off to a nice start. Jimmy G going down, courtesy of Bilal Nichols. I expect this team to be back here. This defense, this Bears defense. There's just so many big names, so many good players on all 3 levels. On the D-line, you have guys like Akeem Hicks, Goldman. Linebackers, you have Roquan, Khalil. In the secondary, you don't have anyone that can cover Kittle because nobody can cover Kittle. Even though he didn't have the best week 2, he's still somebody to be reckoned with. But yeah, in the secondary, you have Eddie Jackson, one of the best safeties in the NFL. Big 3rd and 3. Early on in this game, chance to get off the field. I didn't spotlight Kittle. That could be a big mistake as Ayuk gets the first down. Not gonna lie, my Eagles didn't do too well against the Niners. I mean, they started off hot, moving the ball really well. I don't know how we didn't convert those red zone opportunities into touchdowns, but I do think the Niners are easily a playoff team, so it wasn't the worst loss in the world. It was just a very boring game. On the opposite end of the spectrum, there were a lot of amazing games. The
Vikings-Cardinals was
probably my favorite game of the week. I fell asleep before I saw the Chiefs and the Ravens play, but that was another good game. On the highlights, Lamar finally got his first win against Mahomes. So yeah, you let me know what your favorite game of the week was. As we get the nice tackle in the backfield on 2nd down, it'll be a 3rd and 7. Khalil in the zone. He has relentless, I believe that is. So let's see if he can get to the quarterback. Big play. Gotta watch Kittle. There's 2 people open on the left side. I can't believe he didn't go to him. He's going to him. Trevathan season. Oh, he's lucky it's not a pick. You know what? Let's run a little play action. Try to go deep. Tyler Lockett is one of the best deep ball trackers that I think I've ever seen. Like the way he just goes and gets the ball and doesn't fall down. You know, a lot of people fall down after the catch. Oh my goodness. Well, Aaron Jones chose not to block right there. It's just a handoff. That's pretty much what it was. Come on. That's a nice route. No, the windup was just so slow. Oh my goodness. I got to get used to that. I don't play with Brady too often in Madden. Oh my God, this dude Bosa is unbelievable. He's unbelievable. That's the 2nd strip fumble. And now they got the ball in great field position. How is this man still in the zone? We got to do something to get him out of it. Because right now he's just dominating this game. Come on. Oh my goodness. This is unbelievable. But maybe the O-line? I don't know. I'm trying to find a reason why we're struggling so bad. Kelsey gonna get us a first down. Cooper Kupp wide open. Okay. We're gonna get 3 points. Give us some momentum heading into half 2. There it is. Henry season, yes sir. Get him the ball and let him do what he does. No chance this team should be down this much, man. I refuse to believe it. We gotta start this drive just with a touchdown. We just gotta score a touchdown on this drive. Simple. Kelsey gonna get us the first down. You can't bring him down. It's a grown man. Oh, it's man defense. Oh my God, another fumble. We can't stop their D-line. There it is. Oh, he got bumped. He's still on his feet, Kelsey. Oh my goodness, stop it. Ginormous 3rd and goal. They even killed us in the flats all game. I made an adjustment, put the crow flats at 0. Let's see if that works. Oh my God, there's someone wide open, and that's game. Tyler Lockett, that's what he does, but it might be too little too late. That start was pathetic. It was, like, Bosa is just too good. That guy's a superstar, okay? That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Spotlighted him. Spotlight. Oh, Aaron Jones out the backfield. Yes, sir. We're going to fall to 500 on the season, but I have faith in Brady to at least make the playoffs. I think he's going to at least make the playoffs. This was just a one bad game. I try to tell you, man, this is Brady. As soon as you count him out, that's when he rises to the occasion. They don't lose a game the rest of the season. They just, got hot. Started blowing teams out. It's not even close. How do you beat Kyler and the Cardinals like that? Actually, they lost in the divisional round. Even though they got the first seed, they ended up losing to the Panthers and Christian McCaffrey. Sam Darnold was flawless. Outplayed Brady. That's kind of crazy, man. CMC probably wasn't too happy that he barely missed out on making his team. Henry did his thing. Let's go ahead and check the season stats. But it's kind of unfortunate they weren't able to win a Super Bowl. Still phenomenal regular season. Offense was second in the NFL. Defense was third. Points scored, they were first. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better season than that. Hey, man, I take blame for about 2 of those picks, or 1 of those. I forget how many I threw. But Brady had a great season, man. 40 touchdowns at his age is just unbelievable. Almost 2,000 yards. Back-to-back seasons for Derrick Henry. Just nasty. 6 yards per carry. Jones was solid, too. But Henry is just otherworldly with 21 touchdowns on the ground. 3 guys had double-digit receiving touchdowns. Brady was spreading the ball around. Scary Terry, the only 1,000-yard receiver, however. On defense, Trevathan led everyone in tackling. Roquan right behind him. Yeah, Khalil. And 4 other players on the Bears with double-digit tackles for a loss. 22.5 sacks. What is going on? That ties Michael Strahan's record of the most in one season. I'd be shocked if Khalil didn't win DPOY. Kamara takes home MVP right ahead of Derrick Henry. Wow. Okay. And he was the only Bear to make it in the top 10. As for DPOY, I knew it would happen. Khalil Mack, the sack attack, taking it home. And there you have it, man. This team was stacked top to bottom. They performed how we expect them to in the regular season. The postseason is just so random. So I don't know if it's going to happen this year, man. I hope it does. But until next time, man, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Let's hit the like goal if you wanted to stay on the channel. If not, we on channel number 2.